G'day, Spice Legends. Welcome to Burner Bites Down Under, the hottest show down under. We're joined here tonight by a pretty awesome fellow Australian here, ex-My Kitchen Rules chef. They're one of the hosts of Our State on Your Plate. Nearly said that wrong. As well as he's going to be the upcoming MC for the Chili Fest in Fremantle, Western Australia. So we've got this amazing bloke here. He's one of our good old Aussie champions, good old Aussie battler. Blake Proud, so I'll get Blake Proud in the studio. G'day, legend. How you doing, mate?
How are you, mate?
Oh, awesome, mate. Sweating the bloody ring off here. It's pretty warm here in Sydney. What's it like there in WA, mate?
Mate, it's always hot in WA. Steaming hot. Yeah, I think it's been like over 30, 40 for the last month pretty much over here. So,
wow, that's pretty crazy, mate. Good evening. At least that's the way. And look, for the minuscule amount of people that don't know who you are, do you want to just tell everyone who you are and what you've done, mate, or what you do? Yeah.
So My Kitchen Rules 2019. I was on there with my little sister. We went in, mate, tried to rip it up, failed miserably. No, I think we just missed out on the top 10. Had a sick time, so I've come back, obviously home to WA, and then COVID's hit. So I've just focused on the whole, local WA produce and food, and hosting a new show now on Channel 9 called Our State on a Plate. So it's been epic.
That's the one, mate. Wait, you said you just missed out the top 10. How many were there in the show? Was there only 10?
I think there's 20 teams of two.
Oh, so you got halfway. Okay, that's pretty good then.
You got about halfway, yeah. Mate, would have imagine if there was only 10 teams, mate, it would have been sad, wouldn't it?
You're like, oh, good God. Well, matey, with me in front of me, mate, I heard that one of your favourite dishes is actually pork belly. I'm not experienced enough as a cook to do pork belly, but I got.
I'm judging you right now, mate. I'm judging you.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I'm going. So that's that's fucked. Yep. He's overcooked it, smashed it, burned it. Yep. I was waiting for that, so I was like, that's all right. I don't claim to be any master chef or My Kitchen Rules.
Mate, there's no such thing as bad pork, mate. So
there's no such thing as what?
No such thing as bad pork.
Bad pork, that's right, mate. And as Aussies say, get some pork in your pork, bloody oath. All right.
Exactly, mate.
Well, matey, because you're all the way in WA, it's a bit of a walk over there. We got you to bring your own fire trial. So show us what do you got there, mate? What's your lineup for tonight?
So I've got a massive mix of predominantly focused on WA stuff. So WA boy at heart. So I've got a bit of some stuff that I've been pickling myself. So I've got some peppers. I've got these little bad boys, which are a hybrid between a habanero and an ahi lemon, if anyone knows what those ones are. They got a bit of heat to them.
I think some people know what that is here in the chili community, don't you guys?
Yeah, they do. And then I've got some Firehorse, which is quite a small local brand. I've got some Dr. Paul's, and these guys are a new batch that are making waves around sort of in Perth, if that can.
What's that one there? Cowboys. Nice.
Some Cowboys, what's else. So nice packaging on that one. I love it.
We all know Dr. Paul's, mate. Dr. Paul's in my lineup there. Love me a bit of
Ruby's. Yeah. Oh, there we go, mate. See? Look at him, mate. Nationally famous, taking over the country, mate.
That's the way, mate. Take the country by storm. So, matey, look, let's go with your first one there. So, what's the first one you got to start with, mate?
So, I'm going to go with these ones. So, these are just basically a no heat pepper, but I've chucked in a couple of green chilies in the top there just to give it a bit of heat. So, I haven't tried these yet. So, I've done these in 17th of April.
Well, I got something here. I thought this would be funny. I got some salubrious pork that I'm about to put on pork, right? And then I had this weird idea the other day because I've got so many different sauces that I want to play with, right? And I thought this company's called Chili Sweet, right? And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to mix something sweet with Chili Sweet? I got Be All Naturals chili chocolate honey. I thought, why not whack that on top of the pork as well, right? And just make this combo of salubrious pork on pork with chocolate, mate. How's that for a combo, mate?
That's a pretty out there combo, mate.
You're like, I don't know what to think about that, mate, but I'm not the chef anyway.
Yeah. I just sit here like, no comment, mate. You just do you, all right?
You're like, that's wrong. That's a flavor combo. No. All your chef trainings. No. All right, well, let's get the obvious questions out of the mate. Why are you burning with that one? What got you into cooking is the obvious question because, look, I've got a younger sister as well, ironically, and we might get along now, but I couldn't imagine for the life of me trying to cook with her. I'm sure somebody would get stabbed in that kitchen, but she's like, get out of my way, right? So, like, what got you to cooking, and how did you guys become a brother-sister combo? So, talk us through that one, mate.
Well, mate, they cut all the scenes out of me actually stabbing her, so they wouldn't show them on TV, unfortunately. But I actually used to be quite a big fella, so I was about 105 kilos, sort of maybe about 10 years ago now, 12 years ago. So it just purely came into, like, I started to cook just to lose weight, to be honest. So it wasn't anything where, I was going to chef school or training to be a six chef or anything like that. It was just like, what does food do? How can I lose weight? What am I going to cook? What am I going to eat? And then it just kind of went from there. So it's pretty, to be honest, it's pretty boring, bland, shitty food, right? It's just like lamb with a bit of salt and spinach, and that was it. And it got to the point where it's like, this tastes shit. How do I make it taste good? And then that's kind of where the cooking journey kind of went from there. So like, seasoning, flavors, acids, fats, and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. Because, like, I know, like, when I lived on my own, I'm not going to say I'm nowhere near a master chef or a My Kitchen Rules chef. But when I lived on my own, when you suddenly have to cook and provide for yourself, you suddenly get better at cooking for some reason, because you've got to eat that, and if it tastes like crap, you don't want to touch it. So I think, I'm not saying that's the best way to go about it, but that definitely improved my cooking as an individual.
Yeah. Mate, and it gives you something to do, mate. Like, it's sometimes, if you can't be stuff going out to the pub with the boys or whatever, you stay home, you grab a pork belly and you figure it out,
That's right, mate. And like you said, I know that pork belly is actually your favorite dish. Have you got is there a little technique? What's the best technique for the best pork belly, mate?
Mate, it always changes. Like, it honestly changes. Like, at the moment, I'm doing it kind of low and slow at about 150 degrees for about 40 minutes, and then I'm ramping it up at the end, and I'm finding I'm getting some pretty good crackle like that. Always in the fridge overnight, 24 hours unwrapped, and let it dry right out. That's absolutely essential.
Excuse me while I just drool a little bit. It's not from the chili, it's just from yeah, definitely, mate. I've seen some amazing dishes too. And I have to comment, I saw this one video with you where you made this dish where it was like shark something with fennel. And you said fennel so many times in the video. I was like, I am so tempted to make a drinking game. Every time he says fennel, drink. And I'm just like, oh, that'd be dangerous. All right, mate. Well, the next one I got here, I got Gods and Sauces, Smoking Dirt. And Gods and Sauces are going to be actually at the festival that you're going to be emceeing there, mate, Fremantle.
Yeah, right.
So don't forget, guys, Blake Proud is going to be the MC there at the Chili Fest Fremantle. Don't confuse it with I think it's Calamana or whatever. It's the Fremantle one, right near Perth. That is that. And you're going to be doing some competitions and emceeing that. Oh, you're going to be the Dr. Paul's. That's a honey barbecue. Mate, I've tried. That's awesome. Hey,
mate, so good. If you're a fan of like Worcestershire sauce on your eggs or something like that, switch it out and get this bad boy, mate. It is absolutely epic.
And Bree's just saying that fennel is the bomb. Drink, Bree, drink, quick. Want to drink quick? That's the game. All right. Boys in the back,
I feel like people are just going to be there going fennel.
You fools. Oh, yeah. You drunk in half an hour ago. All right, mate. Well, look, the next question I want to ask you, buddy, is with the MKR reality experience, there was some pretty crazy ups and downs. You got a lot of accusations thrown at you. I'm not going to say any names, Josh and Austin. But how did it feel inside the show? Like a lot of people, they get a certain idea of what they're going to walk into, and then I think when you walk into a reality TV show, you never really know what you're going to get. But what was the experience for you? Tell us about your experience and how that came across. So let's eat this one first, mate. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.
Oh, God, I love that.
I already had mine, mate. So
quick, mate.
I wasn't waiting for you. So it's kind of like, it's pretty surreal because I feel like one thing that I feel like with reality TV, people go there with an agenda, right? So a lot of people I think go on there because they want to be famous and they want to be famous for a reason. So they're going in there with the mentality like, I'm going to be the antagonist, I'm going to stir people up and I don't give a shit, like whatever. But some people genuinely go in there because they might want to open up a restaurant or be a chef or something like that. We kind of went in just like, do you know what? Whatever happens. We both love cooking. Let's have fun and just have a good time kind of thing. So we were pretty normal. Yeah, pretty much. It was like super chill. And it was so surreal when you get in there and you're sitting at a table with all these people and some of them are just like the biggest dickheads. And you're just like, what? Like, how are people even like this? Like, my mind was blowing. Like, actually, in the very first episode we were filming, and we were at Ash and Stacey's house. And I literally turned to my sister and I was just like, dude, this feels like we're on a reality TV show. Like, 'cause some of the shit people are saying and doing, you're just like, why are you doing that? Like, you're such a weirdo.
Drama.
And so,
Drama.
yeah, so it's just so much drama. And so kind of, I don't know, you just have to, like, if you love that shit, awesome, you're in your element, like, go for gold. But for us, we just had to kind of like really switch off, put the blinkers on and just be like, you know what, like, we're pretty chilled out, honest, normal people. So it's focus on who we are, what we want to do, what we want to achieve, and then mate, just filter out the bullshit. So there was a couple of good crew on the show, don't get me wrong, but mate, it's one of those things. It feels like a reality TV show when you're on there, trust me.
And that's what I'm saying. There's always one. So can I just ask? You know, you don't have to answer this, but that one of those things that Josh and Austin said. Because like I'll just go on this quick tangent because we're going to be well, I'm going to say we're going to try and be quick because your missus is going to go and perform later tonight. So we're going to try and wrap this in an hour if we can, guys. But they tried to say that you falling in love with your current missus was the reason for you bailing out on the show. That you like, oh, he's shit because he's in love or some crap like that. What do you have you got anything that you want to say to that? Like, what are you feeling with that, mate?
Like, mate, I don't know. Like, what do you say to that? Like, when I first read that article, I was kind of like, I need to react to this, right? Like, because they just want to stir the pot and get a reaction, right? So I kind of felt bad that I did react to it because it's exactly what they wanted, because it just keeps their name back in the papers and in the media and stuff like that. So having a bickering kind of war like that, but mate, we cooked a shit cook. Like, we went into elimination and we fucked up. Like, that's as simple as that, man. Like, we cooked the worst ossobuco I've ever cooked in my life, worst risotto I've ever cooked in my life. We just crumbled under pressure, and that's that. Like, if we nailed that cook, you know, we probably would have ended up in the top 4, but we didn't, so we go home. Like, yeah, to say it's anything more than like that absolute instance of that particular cook, it's impossible, mate. You can't plan to lose, right? How can you go into a cook with a whole production crew and plan to lose? And the way we did, it's impossible.
Yeah, that's right. Alicia says always voted for you and your sis. Go WA, bloody oath. And that's the thing. Like, you know, if you're on a cooking show and you don't cook well, it's not going to end well. So I guess that's the obvious answer there. So you pretty much answered it there, man. You know, and I think there's always going to be a drama king and a drama queen. Yeah. All right, mate. So look, let's grab our next sources, mate. And my next one here is Raspberry 100 from Fine Lake Gourmet Chilies. Adrian Zaccaro is the master chef behind this. This guy's a meat wizard himself. If I could get his meat in my mouth every day, I would. And I've had plenty of and I can say that confidently without sounding gay. And I've had quite a few people get a bit worried about me going, what are you saying to us, Phil? Are you trying to tell us something? No, but seriously, he's got these amazing 30-hour smoked briskets and 45% marbled Wagyu steak. And I'm going, I will cheat on you with it. It's amazing stuff. So,
mate, he can put his meat in my mouth anytime now you said that.
Yeah, that's right. So big rep to Fine Lake Gourmet Chili. I love his stuff. And this sauce is amazing too. It's Raspberry 100 and it sets off really well with cinnamon. So I always really enjoy having it with something with sort of Coke in it. The cinnamon just sort of makes it pow. But the question I wanted to ask you next, mate, look, what's the difference between like being a competitor in a show like obviously My Kitchen Rules to now you're being a host, you're on state, what's it called, our State with the Plate. You even had actually your own clothing label. I think it's called Toys Collective as well. I was just saying to you before, we were just talking before, did you think of maybe changing the name to something else? Because I searched to Google that. I was like, oh, that's probably not the clothing label. But anyway, cheers, mate.
So Toys Collective was, I'll show you this hot sauce first. So this is the Fire Horse. This is just their premium standard one. So I buy this in hospitality size bottles because I go through so much of it. This is my go-to hot sauce all day, every day, on everything. It's amazing. So if you haven't tried it before, definitely get it. So cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, I think that should have been a bit further up the hot side.
You done your stop on the third one.
Jesus, mate. I'm already scared now. So the clothing brand was, I launched that in 2011. That was just like a drunk idea with a friend who ended up being my roommate and business partner. We did that for 5 years. That was awesome. Taught me everything you'd ever want to know about business. Is the best way is to get your hard-earned money, invest it into a business, and then try not to lose it all. And then that's pretty much the best way to learn, mate. It's like gambling your money, really. So that was awesome. My Kitchen Rules, reality TV was great, but mate, doing a show like Our State on a Plate is fantastic because, especially in the last 12 months, where we've had, the lockdowns and we can't travel and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I'm getting a bit like the goods in the back of the throat there.
You got the goods, mate, on round 3.
That's it, yeah. I should have thought about the order more. Lots of local producers and stuff like that. It's awesome, man. It's a really good show.
So tell us now that you've got the perspective of a host, looking back at MKR, how do you feel about the way that those hosts sort of conduct themselves in that show? Like, do you feel that, like, I don't know, like, what's your perspective on
that? Mate, I reckon they've got it easy because they've all got earpieces in. So, production's talking to them, telling them what to say. So, so when I'm filming Our State on a Plate, I've got to remember my lines and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes I'm walking down a main road in Subiaco and I've got 4 or 5 sentences I've got to remember off the top of my head, kind of thing, while you're kind of walking onto incoming traffic and all that kind of stuff and focus on looking down the barrel of a camera. Mate, I'd love to go be a host of MKR, mate, because it'd be a breeze.
Yeah, bloody oath. Well, I think they had a spot open for a while, didn't they? Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. Anyway, but look, the next source I got here, mate, I got this one from Kilties. This is from New South Wales. It's from Barrel. This is it's called hand smoked Chipotle barbecue sauce. This is my 3rd bottle. I go through this so quickly. I can drink it. It's ridiculous. What's the 3rd one? What's the 4th one you got there, mate?
Mate, I don't know. I'm getting concerned that I've just bought everything that's too hot now. I'm already on the end of the scale, mate. And I'm working through 3. Everything's looking pretty hot after this. So I got more Dr. Paul's. This is their habanero whole seed mustard. I'm just gonna go easy on this now, I think. I'm gonna start introducing some starchy carbs, mate. I got some bread here, so
you gotta go out later. You gotta hit the piss later. Yeah. All right.
That's it, mate.
All right, mate. Well, cheers, buddy. The question I want to ask you: look, fame, love, hats, being a vineyard brand manager, and cooking. How do you balance all that, mate? And just tell us a bit more about that.
So you don't really balance it, mate. You just do it. I think, like, I always bite off more shit than I can chew. So even this year so far, obviously doing the Our State on a Plate. So I'm the brand ambassador now for Cure Cancer Australia for a promotion they run called Barbecue, which is really, really good thing to be a part of. MCing the CHILLI Fest. But I just don't say no. I think as soon as you start saying no to things is when you just start to miss out on opportunities. So I'm just a yes man. We just do it all and you just go to bed later and get up earlier, mate. And that's it. You just get it done.
Yeah, I think there's a saying, what's it called? You sleep when you're dead, or what's it called? If you didn't succeed at that, you didn't want it bad enough or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that.
Exactly, man. And nothing stops. Like if you do something and you change your mind, then you can just be like, oh, I don't like doing this anymore. I don't want to do this. So,
Bree's got # Cure Cancer Australia.
There we go.
Yeah. Cheers to that, Bree. Bloody oath. So look, just quickly while I mentioned the hat thing, matey, I've noticed you just seem to have these hats with the B everywhere you go. Yeah. What's the story with that? Like, is it B for Blake? Is it B for Boston or something? Is it B for Bad?
So there's an actual story. Is I went over to America in 2011, played a bit of basketball there in Venice Beach, and there was a team, the college team there, it's called the UCLA Bruins. So I went and ended up buying these Bruins hats that had a B on it, and I'm like, hey, B for Blake, sick. So I started wearing them all the way back then, and then obviously when My Kitchen Rules came on, I was just like, wow, what a great branding opportunity! Like to just run the B cap, it's recognizable. Good marketing. So I kind of pitched it to them and said, guys, I want to wear a hat. And they were like, cool, let's do it. So it became a thing. So now I've got like my own hat carry bag and all this kind of stuff. It comes on the plane with me and stuff like that. And yeah. So it's pretty full on.
Your missus has got the purse, you've got the hat carry bag.
Mate, that's exactly what it's like, mate. 100%. Yeah.
Because I was talking to the person that got me onto you, and I was going, does he have a hat for every day? Is he like Superman? Is there a hat for every day? Is it each week, or what's the story? Is there a hat for every situation?
I've basically bought every one I could get. So every color they made, I basically bought it. And then some you just don't use. And then I've given heaps away, like, to just kids and stuff like that. And, I'll just autograph it and give some away and stuff like that. But then I basically just got it down to my core one. So it's basically just a black cap with a white B. and I wear that 99.99% of the time. So
because obviously BP was taken, and you can't get sued.
Exactly, mate. Yeah. I'm still working on that court. Still working on the court case, mate. So
court case now. All right, mate. Well, let's go on the next source there. We've got this one from Aussie. It's called Aussie Gold from Tracy's Chili Obsession. Tracy's one of our awesome friends there. She's an amazing sponsor as well. This is the second version of this sauce. It's a completely all made in Australia, all products, all manufactured, everything in Australia sauce. That's the reason why it's called Aussie Gold. And it's bloody awesome too. It's one of the few sauces that actually made with a tincture. I don't know if you know what a tincture is, but it's like a sort of an alcoholic kind of solution in the sauce mixed in with it. And everyone that's sort of familiar with tinctures know they're not exactly the best flavor in the world. So to have it go well as a flavor in a sauce is actually quite an accomplishment. But look, mate, what's the one you got there, mate?
So I'm going on the color of this, mate. The Cowboys jalapeno hot sauce.
Oh, jalapeno. Yeah. Nice. All right, mate. So the question I want to ask you is something you just sort of said before, and now I am curious to see. So cheers. Tell us about your first chili experience, and then your worst and your best.
So I think for me, chilies go back to when I was a kid. If I ever said a swear word, I'd get Tabasco sauce on my tongue. So I think I got a bit of emotional scarring as a child from. It's taken me a long time to get into chili. So I remember one time there was we used to have an ice cream truck, and you come down the road, and it was called Mr. Whippy. And I've been up on the slide looking over the fence, and I'm like, here comes Mr. Dicky. And that's it, mate. Dad's come running out the backyard with the Tabasco sauce, and I've been absolutely caned, mate, with some hot sauce. So that was probably my first experience with hot sauce when I was about 5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's taken me a while to get into hot sauce. So I think just recently, but basically on MKR, man. So when you're in a competition like that and people are cooking dishes and you're scoring people on what they bring to the table, ultimately you want to win. So any excuse to kind of score your competition down. So someone came out with, a dish that was spicy or chili-based dish, and I got no spice, then you kind of I was a bit disappointed, which for me is unusual because normally I'd be like, I don't want to eat this if it's too spicy. And so now I'm scoring with it. So, and then I'll start getting dishes where people are like, oh, it's a chili dish and it's spicy and it's got all these spices. And then I eat it and I'm like, oh, that's got good heat. I like that. I'll give them extra points. And then all of a sudden I have this epiphany. I'm just like,
Paul says that's what I call
straight out. Mate, it was Tabasco sauce and a wooden spoon, mate. That's the old school parenting of the 90s. That's all you needed.
Bloody oath. We all had to eat soaps as bars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And so you started to rate them on the chili, how much chili they whacked in there as well.
Yeah, so I had this epiphany that wait a second, do I actually enjoy this heat? In the right dishes. And so it basically became when it was applied in the right kind of sense for me to start off, in the right dishes and things I was anticipating, like Thai food, Mexican food and stuff like that. And then a couple of the girls on the show, so Andy and Ruby, that were the Peruvian girls, they're talking about this oh, we have this super rare yellow chili. And so I'm like, what is this yellow chili? So I'm researching this, yellow chili, end up in an Amarillo chili. And then see Alicia, thanks for tuning in. And so I've gone and bought these Amarillo chili seeds. And so I started growing these Amarillo plants and then cooking with the chili, and then got more chili plants. And then next minute, the whole backyard's just full of chili seeds and plants. And that was the addiction it started.
That's right. And you actually said, you've actually got quite a few plants. I think you said, was it 50 chilies? Is that right?
Mate, at one stage, so my back courtyard was literally full. So it was just a sand pit just full of chili peppers.
Wow.
And then I got a girlfriend, and she was just like, yeah, you got a bit of an obsession with chili pepper. We could utilize that space and put some paving down and astroturf and stuff. So, yeah, I had heaps, mate. So I was going to all of the chili events over in Perth and stuff like that. I judged the chili sauce comp at Araluen 2 years ago. So, mate, it happened quickly, so quickly, mate. I hated chili, and then before you know it, I'm just absolutely hooked. So, and here I am emceeing the Fremantle Chili Fest. So.
There you go, mate. So in that, do you have a worst and best chili experience? Everyone seems to have that story. What's your story in that one? What's your worst chili experience?
Oh, mate. I think probably at the Araluen Chili Fest. What's his name again? The guy that eats. We were talking about the guy that eats the Carolina Reapers. I forget his name now.
Johnny Scoville, you talking about? Or?
Johnny Scoville. Yeah, sorry, Johnny Scoville. How can you forget Johnny Scoville? And I was saying to him, I had to eat all these hot sauces. So I was going to judge maybe 80 sauces I think I was going to try on the day. And I was like, Johnny, what's a tip, mate? What can I do to sort of get myself prepared for this? And he's like, oh, mate, come with me. I'll show you what you do. And he goes and picks this fresh yellow fatali off, breaks it open. He's like, mate, you just lick it. And I'm like, looking at this oily yellow fatale just like oozing onto my hand. And I'm just like, oh, it's like, are you sure I should do this? And he's like, mate, trust me, just lick that. It'll burn for 30 minutes, and then the rest of the day, you should be fine. And I'm like, oh, well, trust you, mate. You're like one of the best chili eating guys in the world. So I've just, mate, straight into this yellow fatale, and I was absolutely fucked for like 45 minutes, just sweating. I could not taste anything. My tongue was just so numb. So it was probably like one of the best and the worst experiences. Like he was right though. Like the rest of the day, eating the chili sauces, I didn't get much heat at all. I got so much flavor and depth out of the sauces after that. It was phenomenal.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that is a bit of a trick that some of the chili heads do out there, is have some real crazy burn before they do something. And then the rest of it, you've already hit that peak. I think once you hit a certain peak, like you're saying there, it's mostly just flavor after that point. Yeah. And so we just did your worst one. What's your best one, mate?
Oh, mate, I think just growing them, mate. I reckon just chilies in general, just growing the plants and going from seed to, harvest, and just having an abundance of chilies, man, and making hot sauces and trying hot sauces, mate. And the chili community over in Perth is just, I don't know what it's like on the East Coast, but over here, man, it's a next level network. Like there's some crazy obsessed people, and they're just the nicest people like you'll ever meet. So I've got heaps of friends that, mate, yeah, and they're just good people. Like they're genuinely good people to hang out with. So yeah, that's probably been the best part of it.
That's what Bree says. It's the best addiction ever as well, because it's legal.
100%.
All right. And you kind of do get high on this stuff, mate, which is kind of funny. Yeah. And I think like that was one of the things that I see a lot of people see to comment on is that chili seed is so easy to grow. Like people just whack it in like a can or something like that,
Yeah.
It's not really that crazy of a thing to do. But then once you start learning about it, it's such an amazing art form to sort of get into. It gets crazier and crazier. Yeah.
Some of the plants look phenomenal. Like I've got some purple tigers out there at the moment, and they're kind of variegated purple, white, and green. And the pods come out like, mate, all kinds of colors. They're like yellow, they're purple, they're green, they're orange. It's just nuts, mate. They look sick. So
yeah, exactly. All right, mate. Well, the next one I've got here is from Bucking Street. Spray is fire. I'm really enjoying this one. It's sort of like the hot one's last chat, but a bit milder, and it's got like a real good like lemon lime kind of tang to it. Quite an enjoyable experience, actually. I like it. What do you got there, mate?
So I'm going to stick on the Cowboys 7 out of 10 range. So they got 3 in the range. There's a jalapeno. This is their original. So it's quite yellow. So they use yellow fatales as their heat in most of their sauces. Mate, and one thing that they do that's really cool, if I can get this out. Come on. Oh, how much?
Right, you got to commit to it now, mate.
One thing that they do is really cool. They use like cauliflower seems to be like a major base of the sauce, so it gives you a really nice like depth of flavor, which is really cool.
Yeah, well, cauliflower is sort of like the vegan equivalent of chicken, because chicken seems to take on the flavor so well. So if you want to do like chicken wings but vegan, it's good to use a cauliflower kind of alternative. And I'm not a vegan person or vegetarian, whatever. But even I've got to recognize that if you just deep fry vegan, it's a good cauliflower, it works almost just as well. It's pretty cool,
Yeah.
So I like my meat, but even I've got to go respect. Yeah. All right, mate. Well, look, the question is, you've cooked a bit more with chili now. You're bound to have picked up a few chili tricks with your cooking and secret techniques for spice and spice heads. Tell us a few of your techniques or like little tricks and tips you got with that. And then there was another thing I wanted to ask you about one of the judges. We'll talk about that bit first. This bit first, yeah.
So, mate, cooking with chili for me, well, I love sauces. Really, for me, condiments and seasonings and all that kind of stuff can elevate cooking from being something basic to something just next level. So, having a couple of really nice sauces, really good seasonings and herbs and spices, that's pretty much what turns a dish from something that's quite basic to something that's absolutely super duper. So in my cupboard, it's always like I've got just chili soaking in soy sauce. I've got, dried chili that's been blended with some peanut oil and some sweet chili sauce, and mate, just heaps of sauces really and seasonings. I've got a dehydrator. So obviously, you know what it's like when you trees and they're just fruiting and they're crazy. Like, what am I going to do with all these chilies, mate? Just get a dehydrator, dry them all out, mate, put them in back bags, grind them up. Like it's the best way to do it. So
yeah. And so, look, the second part of this question I wanted to ask you, is you must have had a unique experience and a unique view on the drama that went down with that judge, Pete, where he got a lot of flack, and people saw him completely differently after he jumped on the social media and whacked out that crazy little meme with the two bugs, and one was wearing like a MAGA hat. Now the other one had a hate symbol on it, and it said a comment about, I think, what was the comment? It just said some pretty provocative kind of stuff, and the world sort of perceived it a certain way, but you were sort of inside that bubble. You were in contact, and all those kind of people, and you've seen the judges. What was your take on that whole scenario? What do you think about that? And what did the other competitors, and how do they react as well?
So as far as like Pete Evans goes, like he's such a good dude. He was super nice. Like when we got eliminated, he was the first person to come up. Here's my number. Like if you want to talk, call me. Like you guys did great. He was just the first person to just jump up and actually show compassion, empathy, and support. And which was unexpected because throughout the show he's quite reserved and keeps to himself quite a bit. So for him to do that for us was kind of like, wow, like what a really good guy. But I think he's got a lot of good food philosophy. So like he was some of the first cookbooks I ever read with some of Pete's cookbooks. I've still got them. So he's been on his own journey. So I guess for Pete, he's doing his thing. So like that picture he posted up, like I don't know anything about the history of that kind of stuff anyway. So I didn't pay too much attention to it. But mate, I feel like he likes to leave things a bit open-ended, and controversy, mate, like he's more famous now than ever before. His name pops up every day in the news. His brand is just through the roof. Even though his cookbooks have been pulled, he's got his own Evolve Network TV thing now, and he's just doing it all on there. So I don't agree with everything he does, but from what the time I spent with him and how I got to know him, like he's a great guy. Don't always agree with everything that he says and everything that he does, because obviously some of it was just plain stupid. And I'm sure maybe if he could go back in time, maybe he'd take it back and do it all again in a different way. But to be completely honest, I'm probably not that close with him on a personal level anyway to sort of say too much about it. But you got to be careful with what you say these days. If you're in the limelight and you're a person in society that people look up to, you always have to watch your tongue, and you always have to second guess.
Yeah.
When you're about to say something, mate, you bite your tongue and then you think about it. Or like what I write a lot of stuff to my partner in a text message. I'm like, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to say this, and she's like, do not fucking say that. Like,
so look, I'm gonna just ask one more thing about that, and then we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
So look, the dude, when he said this, he claimed ignorance. He claimed that he didn't know anything about the symbol, and it was clearly a symbol of hate, and it had a lot of connotations with neo-Nazis and things like that. But then you just said that it seemed like this has boosted his sales and things. Do you feel that he actually was ignorant of this thing, or do you feel that he was just trying to stir up a bit of controversy to boost his brand and his label and stuff like that, mate? What do you think of that? What's your take?
Well, if I put myself in his shoes, so I saw the picture and nothing registered. So I don't know anything about the symbol. I didn't understand the catchphrase and stuff like that. So I kind of looked at it like, what's going on? What's the big deal? Then did the research, and then I was like, oh, okay, that's a big deal. So I think if you're posting something like that, you obviously know what it's about. Like I wouldn't go randomly post a photo like that not knowing what it's about, because what's the point in posting it, kind of thing. So there's obviously something that he wanted to reference in the image, or a point that he wanted to make about something. And mate, he would have known the implications of it for sure. So
yeah, because like I think what you're saying there with your missus, like maybe he needed a missus in his ear saying, well, maybe don't post something with neo-Nazi symbolism and hatred and stuff like that.
Maybe he just asked the wrong person. Maybe he went to one of his mates that's got SWAT stickers all up their arm, was like, hey, what do you think of this, man? He's like, oh, hey.
No. That's a symbol. That's a symbol over there. Yeah. Anyway, so
he got advice from the wrong person, I think, by the sounds of it.
Yeah. Or his missus was busy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's get on to something a bit more positive, matey. And I want to delve into something that you said, actually, but I found it was a really positive kind of thing. But let's delve into our next sources. So I got my Dr. Paul's hot sauces Ruby Reaper here. What's the one that you got there, mate?
Mate, so I'm going to keep kicking on with the Cowboys. This is the Smoking Red. So this is different because pineapple and mango in this one, and a bit of beetroot juice as well.
Nice. Well, what you said, and that's, I thought it sort of what's it called? It sort of works with what the topic we were just sort of saying there is, with reality TV, you said that you've got to have a thick skin, because media is always digging dirt on you, just like we were just talking about with Pete there as well, and you've got to breathe in the positivity and breathe out the negativity is one of the things you said. I feel that you've been through the ringer yourself, in a personal way, because the media's dug up stuff that they've gone, ooh, this is what Blake looks like without a hat. Oh, and then they pick stuff about misses, and I'm like, oh man, you've copped it. What do you got to say about that? About the whole reality TV thing? People, like you're saying, some people expect things, and then it's not what they expected. Like, oh, it's not what I wanted. Tell us a bit about that, mate. So, cheers.
Well, mate, for us, I don't know, mate. We grew up in a pretty good family where mum and dad always told us how awesome we are. So we were just like, it's water off a duck's back. Like, if you don't like something in your life, you can change it, right? So in my case, like, I think Who Magazine done an article on what's under Blake's hat kind of thing. And if you hadn't been on my Instagram already and just seen that I'm bald, I don't know what people thought was under there, like a ponytail or dreadlocks or I don't know. Another head, yeah, or something like that. And mate, if I really wanted to fix it or I didn't like it, I'd just go to Dubai and just get some hair transplants or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so for us, it's just, I don't know, mate. Like, if people want to say shit, then whatever. I think Amanda copped it really hard. Like, she was getting like hate mail because she wasn't wearing a hairnet. Like the most ridiculous shit ever. So it's, I don't know, mate. For us, it was actually really easy. So I remember reading an article from a lot of other like reality TV stars, and they're saying how hard it is, and they get hate mail and death threats, and it's just emotionally toll. It's just crazy, and I'm just like, mate, just ignore it. It's as simple as that. Like, that's it. For us, it was just super easy. We just and to be completely honest, I think because we weren't dickheads on the show, we didn't get portrayed as dickheads. We were portrayed pretty much exactly how we are. We never really got that much hate anyway, so we probably got more love and more messages of like, gratitude and positive stuff than negative stuff anyway. So it kind of counteracted it really well. So, mate, we were lucky. We were blessed. We had so many good fans and followers and stuff like that. It's incredible.
That's right. And look, I think one of the things that you did mention in one of your particular interviews as well was you're saying you sign a contract, that says that the media release, it entitles them to release you and show you in whatever light they desire. So if you didn't read the contract, it's sort of like stiff luck, you're like, oh, I don't want to be painted that way. I'm like, you signed a contract, and you said that.
And a lot of the time, it's like, if like I watched back some people on My Kitchen Rules, and they were outside of filming. That's exactly how they were. So maybe it's just confronting for them to watch themselves back on TV and be like, oh, they made me out to be a dickhead, and you're like, no, you really are just a dickhead. Like,
well, being a dickhead, then, yeah. Well, that's a good point. I think some people, like, that's something in a narcissistic personality disorder, you might say, is it's hard for people to cope, to actually see themselves in their own light, going, oh, maybe I am a fuckwit,
Yeah, literally, mate. That's a bitter pill to swallow. And then when it's not, like, when it's being watched by 1.5 million people, and then 7% of those people are like, well, I need to let this guy know how I feel. Like, I can understand that would take a toll on you emotionally, but the fact of the matter is, if you were actually a nice person, then you probably wouldn't be having this issue. So, but on the flip side to that, like, when you're filming MKR, you're mic'd up, and then they record everything. So even when you're not filming, you're still mic'd up.
And you might forget you're mic'd up, and they're listening to everything you say.
And if you're around the corner, like, slagging off production, or like a director or something, like, oh yeah, they're an absolute dickhead, mate, they're listening, and they're probably just going like, wow, this guy's a tosser. Like,
well, that was speaking of that whole mic up thing. That's kind of hot with this whole Pete Evans thing. I'm really sorry to go back on this thing, but there was that show just recently. I'm a Celebrity Getting Me Out of Here. There's Grant Denyer and what's the Irish judge on your show? Yeah, he started talking some stuff about it, and they didn't put it in the final cut of the show, but somebody goes, fucking released, and then put it out the internet. And everyone's like, oi, hang on now, whoa.
Oh, I haven't seen that. You have to send me the link for that.
Oh, I will. I'll send you a link. Buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Grant Denny's just like, because he's sort of going, oh, he's talking about Pete, and he's going, well, Pete, I feel sorry for him how much he's getting bashed. The thing he goes, but Grant Denny's is like, yeah, but he caught it. you know. And he's like, yeah, but your kids and stuff. And he goes, yeah, but he caught it. Like,
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, well, yeah, fair enough, you know. And that's like, yeah, you know, it's like, well, you know, you can be a nice person, but how you act will come back to bite you in the ass.
Mate, you make your bed, you've got to sleep in it, mate.
Kind of that thing, yeah. So, like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk about that anymore. You're probably like, oh my god, stop talking about Pete. Far out.
Yeah, no, you're all good, bro. You're all good, mate.
That's right. All right, buddy. Well, let's go on to delve into this one. This one's 13 Angry Scorpions. Right. This is Jekyll and Hyde. So this is where it starts to get really serious. I know this one's at least 1 million Scoville, maybe even a little bit hotter. So she starts to light up here.
I know you're crazy, and I'm not. I think I'm going backwards, mate. I've gone to Dr. Paul's The Green Inferno. I just had a look on the back. It's like jalapenos, and that's pretty much it. So
Marl wants to know. Says Paul. Well, what do you got there? Which one? The Green Inferno.
Oh, mate, that is so good. The Green Inferno from Dr. Paul's.
What's the base? Oh, yeah. I have tried that. That's bloody brilliant.
Jalapenos, mate. That is awesome. That's screaming like fish tacos or something for me.
What's the sauce? My sauce I've got is 13 Angry Scorpions, Jekyll and Hyde, Paul. Yeah, and that's a bloody good barbecue sauce. Pretty hot. So look, the thing I want to let's talk a bit more about this chili festival that you're gonna be emceeing, mate. There's a few events on. There's huge stunts going on. You're going to be promoting a few things. There's going to be a whole bunch of different chili heads there as well. Tell us more about that and what your involvement in that one. Cheers.
So I'm going to be the MC. So I'm sorry, everyone, but I'm going to be there every session, all day, chewing your ears off. So it's on the 27th and 28th of March. Mate, it's a great time of the year in Perth, especially in Freo. So the hot weather's gone. The sea breeze is gone. It's just going to be this beautiful ambient temperature. Great for getting on the drink. There's heaps of great sauces going to be there. Brendan Pang from MasterChef's going to be there. Ooh, what's a mother of pearl? That sounds deadly.
It's supposed to be a sauce spoon that doesn't taint the flavour, because if you put it on a normal spoon of pork, you get a little bit of metallic taste. With a mother of pearl, you just get only sauce flavour, which is amazing.
Okay.
Johnny Scoville sells them. They're his.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. Oh, we're definitely going to have to get one of those then.
Nice. Awesome, mate. Yeah. So
man. So heaps of great producers. So Brendan Pang from MasterChef, insane cook, like insane. So we're getting the My Kitchen Rules, like MasterChef crew together. I don't think it's ever been done before. Like, this is going to be crazy, mate. The networks are going to lose their mind. It's going to be some sick local breweries, local distilleries, mate. It's going to be a pretty good session. Live bands, DJs, you name it, mate. Everything's going to be there. So I even heard there's going to be like body rubs, like chili body rubs. I'm going to have to go find a sensual chili massage or something, mate.
Oh, there's Lucy. G'day, Lucy. How you doing?
Hey, Lucy.
Lucy's the one who's got us involved with this. She's like telling us that I think Lucy's the organizer of Chili Fest there, isn't she?
She is, mate. She's doing a bloody good job too. So,
and she told us, remember, it's at Fremantle, guys. Fremantle is where
the Fremantle Chili Fest at the Esplanade, which is, if you've never been to Fremantle in the Esplanade, it's got these massive pine trees. They're probably like, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 meters tall. And the whole park's just covered with beautiful shade. It's surrounded by restaurants and pubs. It's right on the marina. It's just a day where you can go and just spend the whole day like wandering around and all that kind of stuff. So before and after the chili show, there's places to visit nearby and all that kind of stuff as well. So, and tickets go on sale tomorrow morning. So if you're watching from Perth, jump on there, because at the moment there's no. Yeah, jump on there. And I think the chillifest.com.au as well. So online ticket sales first. If the show sells out, there'll be no door tickets. So jump online and get your tickets ASAP.
Wow. So there's only limited tickets.
So I think because of COVID and the restrictions, there's definitely going to be limitations. Yeah, 100%.
And do you know at all is there going to be masks involved? Are you going to have to wear masks there, or what's the story with that?
Mate, we're mask free in WA, my friend.
Oi, lucky you guys.
Mate.
Hey.
No, I think we've got the most slackest restrictions, I think. So we haven't had a community case for over a year now, I think. So we're not quite a year, about 9 months, I think.
Is that because COVID can't keep up at the time because everything's 3 hours behind over there?
Mate, I think it's just because WA is so isolated, no one wants to come here.
You're like a fucking island on an island, like, you know.
Pretty much, mate. Yeah, pretty much.
3 hours.
For the first time in my life, it's an awesome thing being so isolated. So we've pretty much been untouched, unharmed. I think we had a lockdown for maybe like 6 weeks or something like that, right back in maybe April, May. Other than that, mate, life hasn't changed at all for us over here. So it's been pretty crazy.
I was going, yeah, or Freo if you're from WA.
Yeah, Freo.
Freo, represent.
Yeah, except for the Fremantle Dockers, mate. They can go get stuff.
Oh, snap. No, any other things you want to bring up? Sanitizing, fuck the world. Whoa, okay. But any other things you want to bring up about the, what's it called? The festival that's coming up there? Like, it sounds like you're
just going to be down. Mate, it's going to be a massive show. So if you're from WA, you know the CHILLI Fest. It's been a massive show for, I think, probably a couple of decades now. The last few years, it's kind of been a bit rocky and probably hasn't been at its peak. Last year, it wasn't on at all because of COVID. So if you want to see it back and bigger and better than ever before, not just this year, but for next year and the following years, like, you've got to come down, you've got to buy tickets, you've got to tell your friends, we've got to get this place packed, we've got to talk about it, we've got to get it buzzing, and mate, we've got to build some inertia around it and just get it cranking. So
that's right.
Yeah, we have so many good, especially chili sauces. There's some awesome, talented people making sauces over here in WA. So this really should be one of the prime events in the whole country for CHILLI Fest fans.
And so, what do you know? What time that the tickets are available from tomorrow? What time is it open?
Mate, I think it's like 8 in the morning or 8:30. Just first thing, just set your alarm, wake up at 7, and just go there and just keep hitting refresh until they're available.
There you go. There you go. Hit up facebook.com/ChilliFest, or you said the chillifest.com.au, and go get those tickets, guys, because they said, like I said, only limited tickets. If they sell out, that's it. You can't go in, and you miss.
Mate, and WA just relaxed their border restrictions today. So if you do want to come from the East Coast, you just have to come 2 weeks before so you can self-isolate and then come to the show. What a great excuse for a holiday.
That's funny. Awesome. Oh, 9 a.m. There you go. Lucy says 9 a.m. So
9 a.m.
Set your alarm for 9 a.m. Go to the page there, Spice Legends. Check out the old, facebook.com/the Chilli Fest or the chillifest.com.au for those tickets. And like we're saying there, refresh. If it's not right there, refresh again. Just keep on going. And like you said,
that's it.
If you're from the East Coast, jump on over, mate. Get a WA experience and get a free little holiday there for the what would you say? It was the quarantine holiday.
Mate, there's a couple of great hotels in Freo. Mate, you stay at the Esplanade, which is literally like right on the doorstep of. It'd be a good little trip.
There you go, mate. There you go. All right. Well, we better move on to another topic, mate. What's the next sauce that you got there, buddy? Or the next flavor you got there?
All right, so I'm going Dr. Paul's smoked barbecue habanero sauce.
I tried that. That's bloody awesome. I've got here Cobra Fever. It's 1.64 million servers.
That sounds so bad.
She's warm, mate. She's bloody warm. And yeah, she gets starting to get a kick there. So look, mate. One of the interviews I've read about you, mate. You were what's it called? You were talking about you wanted to go and travel around Australia. You recognised pretty quickly that you hadn't travelled your own country, and I think a lot of us Australians, we're in the exact same boat, going, how come we haven't seen our own country? We've travelled other countries, but yeah. One of the things you mentioned on the interview that you wanted, the way that you wanted to travel country, you wanted to try and like maybe either earn a little bit of coin or not be struggling for money. So you'd like, why don't I start a bit of a food truck to travel around Australia, right? And you thought, you could do a bit of podcasting. And you thought, yeah, do a bit of underwater podcasting was the idea, maybe some podcasting with seals. And then you said you wanted to make some pork belly, but then you wanted to experiment and try and cook all the different what was the word? All the different pests. And one of the pests in the outback is camels. He wanted to try and cook a camel belly, like a pork belly, a camel belly. I was like, tell us a bit more about that kind of idea, that planning you had. So cheers, buddy.
So it's just kind of, the idea was to tour around the country and then obviously base it off a food truck. So you need some kind of an income. So unless you can't travel the country for free, let's face it. So just to cruise around and just basically try and utilize whatever. So, it may be when you're up north, like camels or whatever it may be, what kind of a pest is available within the vicinity of wherever you're going to stop off and stay. So that was the basis behind it. So camels, one of them, plenty of wild rabbits, plenty of kangaroo, and just kind of make it special to each kind of stop off, like what's their unique pest kind of produce or whatever they've got sort of growing around, be it a plant or a protein or whatever it is. So probably won't eventuate, but I still dream about doing it.
It's a bit of a pipe dream, is it, mate?
Always a pipe dream, mate. You got to have a pipe dream.
Oh, that's right. That's fair enough. Fair enough. And I think you were saying something about trying some turtle. Yeah, I've got a few, got a few little tips and hints for you there. With that, you've got to be careful because turtles are protected by the government. You've got to get approval from Aboriginals for it. First of all, I think they've got to get approval from Aboriginals to kill. And then secondly, again, you've got to get Aboriginal approval to be able to eat them as well as hang the shell up on display is the same kind of thing as well. Yeah. It's a good pipe dream, but yeah, just if you're going to do that, don't just go out and kill a turtle.
And it's like it's kind of like a guilt thing as well, like because like I'd love to try. I've heard of a lot of Aboriginal guys that have eaten dugong and stuff before as well, and I'm just like, the way they talk about it, man, I'm drooling. I'm just like, oh my god, like dugong crackling, like oh my god, surely it's going to be better than pork belly, right? But then I'm kind of like, do I really want to eat a dugong? Like,
but that was one thing that one guy was interviewing. He said he tried dugong, and he says there's like a layer of this dugong fat. It's
and their skin too, like their skin's like really thick and leathery. And
he said he bit into this fat layer, and he goes, normally I'm a carnivore and I'm just ripping open steaks like there's no tomorrow. But he goes, I just couldn't get through it. He goes, far out. And that's what he said. He goes, there's so much fat content in it that, you can see why sharks go after those really fatty kind of creatures because you're like, that's enough fat to last me a month kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. So with that being said, how would you, let's put your master chef kind of like it's really chefing skills to the test. How would you prepare a dugong with so much fat content? What would you do differently that obviously happened with that guy here?
Mate.
Put you on the spot here, mate. Just tell us, what are you thinking?
I'd suss it out, slow cook it, low and slow, kind of like a pulled pork butt. Get that fat to kind of render out into a sauce and then just pull dugong rolls, man, on a nice buttery piece of bread or something with a bit of slaw.
and so like we like with Adrian, he slow cooks his beef and all these amazing dishes to up to 30 hours. How slow would you cook your dugong, mate? What do you reckon? What's the tip?
Mate, if the fat cap on a dugong's going to be that thick, mate, it's going to need at least 12 to 18 hours to get started, and then we'll just gauge it from there, mate.
I thought you were going to go say 60. You just go, 60 hours, mate. No worries.
Mate, 30 hours is intense. That's a long cook, man. That is a long cook.
Yeah. And I've seen the way Adrian does it, and he's got little alarms on him. He's watching cameras. I'm like, I go to Adrian and go, mate, do you fucking sleep? Like, how do you keep watching this shit, But the proof's in the pudding. Like, he pays so much attention to his product.
Yeah, going, 100%, man.
And I put it in my mouth and going, I don't feel like I need to chew. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. All right, what's the next one you got there, mate? I've got a bit of this COVID-19. So 2020 is behind us. Right. We've still got COVID-19 here, mate. This will get rid of the Rona.
All right, so I've got the Firehorse Ultra Blend. Nice. So this is I think second hottest one that they do.
I was going to say, it looks a lot like the one you had before. So
just hotter.
This is hotter. Oh, here we go. All right, better get lit. So look, you were talking a little bit about your weight loss kind of thing before. You apparently were at one stage 108, and then you got yourself down to 74 kilos, mate. Look like you're burning there. Yep. Look, talk us through that. How did you manage that? What was your original motivation to do something as crazy as that, losing 30-something kilos? That's wild.
The original motivation's a bit embarrassing. So I actually had a girlfriend at the time. She was a few years younger than me, so a bit immature. And then we kind of broke up. She started dating a new fella, and this is back on the MySpace days. So we're winding back the clock here, guys. And mate, it's a bit of online bullying, just about being fat and all this kind of stuff. And then, I kind of was laying in bed one night, and I sort of lay down. I see my little bosom kind of flopping onto the mattress a bit, and I was just like, you know what? I was like, they're not wrong. At the end of the day, and I wanted to do something about it. So it's probably more of a wake up call than it was, anything else. And I just chose at that point in my life, I think I was 22 or something, 23 or something like that. And I was like, that's it. I'm just going to start losing weight. So shitloads of exercise, man. I think I was running 50 Ks a week during the peak of it. So
yeah, I've got a similar story to that. I wasn't fat when I was younger. I'm fat now. But when I was younger, I was quite skinny actually. but I copped a lot of bullying, and I turned that anger, or what you might say, into training, and just instead of, because I always got told by my parents, don't fight people, don't start fights, it'll end badly, rah rah, and she says your bosom, and I sort of turned that into training, and I trained like a crazy motherfucker, and like a lot of people gave me some names and labeled me crazy or loco or whatever, because I just trained with such anger and furiosity, but it made me such an amazing athlete for my age, and like I think you were saying with you played a lot of basketball, you got a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Because I was so skinny and I was playing footy, I was so sick of getting injuries that I trained myself to get bigger and bulkier and whatever. And I just was so much bigger. And like after a year, a crazy year of training, I was just a bigger human being. I was just such a unit. And like you said, I think that's one of the things you said. You start to get a better outlook on life because your mindset changes, and then you get addicted to that feeling and going, look how awesome I look, and you just check yourself out going, yeah, but it's not just about the whole ego about it. You go to feel better, and you do feel better, and I can relate to that transformation because like I went from a really skinny kid to being a ripped crazy motherfucker when I was 16, 17 and going, yeah, I like this.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's good, man. And like I obviously, like you're saying, like I've had injuries and stuff like that. So I had knee reconstruction when I was 19, so I was still a big fella then. And only that's kind of stemmed where I really caked on the weight. Like I couldn't go play basketball, I couldn't play football, I couldn't surf, couldn't do anything for like a year. And then, it just kind of stemmed from there. But for me, it was like more like, what's the best way to get revenge on this person? Like, am I going to start a fight, or am I going to like abuse them? Or it's like, you know what? I'm just going to go lose like 35 kilos and just come back like fully shredded with a new mindset. And then just be like, look what you missed out on, mate. Like,
That's something I read somewhere. I think they said that revenge isn't a bad dish best served cold. Revenge is having and enjoying happiness and success despite others' input upon yourself.
Yeah,
so if you're
100%.
happy, and look at you, mate, you're killing it. So obviously, you've got the best times ever.
Thanks, mate. You're too kind. You're gonna make me blush, mate.
He's like, stop it. So my number is.
We're gonna do. Let's just do this every Friday, mate. You can just blow my head up a little bit more. I won't be able to fit out the freaking door tonight, mate.
Fair enough. Yeah, injuries suck, and that's right. Also, injuries suck. That's why I became a sorcerer. Interesting question. I did the same thing, mate. I ripped my neck off the bone, but that was but from stupidity, just pure stupidity.
We're gonna start comparing scars now. I did a tore my bicep out of my forearm. I was doing a one-arm pull-up. I pulled up and snapped it out. So, that was pretty shit.
That's one way to do it. So, mate,
that'll do it, mate.
This is the next one I got, mate. This is Where's the Dunning from Australian Extreme Chili Condiments.
Is this the last sauce, or have I jumped the gun? I think we've got one more after this, don't we?
Yeah, jump one more. You just jumped the gun, mate. We've got one more to go.
All right.
What do you got there, buddy?
So this is a brand newie from Cowboys. So this is their 10 out of 10, which I look, they say 10 out of 10, but it's got Carolina Reaper in it. So I'm pretty sure it's not going to be 10 out of 10. I feel like their 7 out of 10s are probably 10 out of 10s, and this is going to be a 15 out of 10 or something like that. But
so it's like a 16.
Give it a try. All right, mate, I can smell it already.
You smell it, yeah. That's a ripper of a sauce. And look, mate, I just want to ask you, like, tell us what's in the future of Mike, and let's give everyone a bit of advice for future reality stars who want to jump into reality TV, or they want to just get into the chef industry, mate. Tell us what's your advice for those guys.
Mate, do it. Like, if you're thinking about doing it. Like, I've had a fascination with reality TV ever since high school. So I think just do it. Like, you'll get so many people that'll give you every reason why not to do it. Like my mum, mate, she was like, don't do it. You're going to get bullied. Like, don't do this. They're going to say nasty things about you. And I'm like, Mum, I've got this. Like, calm down. But you just got to do it, mate. Because if you don't do shit, you just regret it. And you just build up this negative energy of regret. And you just go through life just going, fuck, what if I did that? What if I did this? At least if you do it, you could suck at it and who cares? Like, at least you've done it. There's no regret, right? And failure only makes you stronger and smarter and better afterwards anyway. So
I agree with that. There's something that Jim Carrey said. He goes, reach for the stars and do something you truly love and that makes you happy, because you could fail at something you hate. You could fail at something you don't like.
Exactly.
Because he said, my father could have been the most amazing comedian this world ever saw, but he's decided to do the stable thing, become accountant, and after 25 years of being an accountant, he still got fired. I was like, oh, you know, and it's such a it just rings so much truth. You're going, yeah, that is a bloody good point, you know. So you may as well, you know, at least fail at something you love, you know, like you said.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it's not like when you are doing something you love and you fail at it, it's not even really a failure because you just pick yourself back up and you just go do it somewhere else or with someone else or with another company or something like that. You know, it's pretty easy to do. So,
and if you do work at something you love, then it's not a job.
Mate, and the other thing as well is you don't know like where things take you. So obviously my kitchen rules was, you know, I wanted to do MKR and then go and do the food truck and travel the country and open up a restaurant and all that kind of stuff. And then obviously now after doing TV, I've done photography like back in the day, years ago. I got a diploma in photography as well. And getting back into doing like TV and production stuff for me has just sparked this new passion for obviously being a presenter on a TV show. And if you told me before My Kitchen Rules, like a year after, I'd be presenting a TV show on Channel 9, I just would have been like, hell no way I'm good enough for that. Like I'd be terrible at it. But, you know, lo and behold, like here I am kind of thing, you know, and emceeing shows like Chili Fest and stuff like that. It's just, there's like this residual things that just happen. And you're like, oh, I would never have expected that. So putting yourself into a situation doesn't necessarily mean you're bound to that particular situation or an outcome. Like there's so many other avenues and windows and doors that open when you do things anyway. So just do it and ride the wave, man.
I totally agree with what you're saying there. If you said to me 5 years ago or 5 years before I started doing this stuff, right, going, hey, Phil, you're going to be interviewing people. And when you interview them, you're not just going to ask them questions. You're going to be eating some of the hottest shit in the world. And it's going to be like all this, you know, and you're going to go about it like this. I would have gone, are you a special kind of fuckwit? Or do you think I'm a fuckwit? Do I have cunt written on my forehead? Like, you know, all right. Well, this one.
That's kind of what it's like, though, man. All right, I'm going to.
This is the last one. Scorpion Strike on steroids. It says 2.25 million Scoville in the bottle. It's supposed to be Australia's hottest sauce, mate. So this one's got a bit of kick. I tell you what, mate. So I always feel it when this one goes on. I tell you what. And if you want to wreck someone, this is certainly one way to go about it. I don't say it's the most tastiest one out there, but yeah, it's certainly one of the hottest. Bloody hell. All right, mate. So this is our next and last segment. It's called Fuzzy Facts. So before you jump that in there, mate, what do you got there anyway? Is it a Charlie?
That's the habanero cross ahi lemon. These are hot, man. These are hot. So when I first had these, they were so hot, and they're not supposed to be hot. And so I'm dropping pods off to a few people around Perth. I mean, you've got to try this. Like, these are so hot. And they're like, no, they're not hot, man. Like, I know what hot is. And they were trying them, and they were like, fuck, man, they are hot. Like, they are really hot. They're like proper hot.
All right.
And so, yeah, so I'll say that for last.
So we know you're going to feel it. All right. So before you eat it, mate, I'm just going to tell you what we're going to do here. So we're going to do this thing called Fuzzy Facts, right? What we're going to do is going to ask you facts about Australia, and you just got to answer them true or false while you're burning, right? So I've got a fuzzy friend here. What? Terry? Hey, thanks, Terry. Terry. That's Terry, the Tasmanian devil. He's a little terror. Tough Terry. He thinks he's tough. Anyway, so I've got right now, it's 10 facts about Australia, and we're going to ask you them while we're both burning. So I've got to try and talk to you and ask you them while I burn, and you've got to try and answer them correctly while you burn.
All right.
Mate, so you ready, buddy?
Mate, knees weak, palms are sweaty.
Mum spaghetti. He's nervous. All right, cheers. All right, mate. Rum was the main currency in colonial Australia. When Governor William Bligh tried to end the army officers' monopoly in 1808, his government was overthrown in the only coup in history of Australia. True or false?
False.
It's actually true,
I
mate.
didn't even hear the question.
Question was, rum was the main currency in colonial Australia. When Governor William Bligh tried to end the army officers' monopoly in 1808, his government was overthrown in the only coup in Australian history. It was actually true.
There you go.
You're like, what? You're like, what? Like, are you speaking words right now? Right. Second question.
Helps when you actually hear the question.
24 rabbits released in Victoria in 1859 grew to a population of 10 million. True or false?
True, surely.
It's actually false. It's 10 billion. 10 billion
oh, shit.
In less than 70 years.
Yeah, right.
Right. In World War II, a Kelpie dog named Gunner had a hearing so acute he could warn Air Force personnel of incoming jet planes 20 minutes before they arrived. True or false, mate?
False.
It's actually true.
What? I suck at this game, eh?
That's right, buddy. That's right. All right. In 1970, a dispute between a farming family and the government led to the family declaring independence and creating the Principality of Hutt River. True or false?
True.
That's right. And it's in your area, it's Western Australia as well, mate.
Got one.
All right.
Champion.
All right. In 1979, police battled 400 rioters in Newcastle, angry at the closure of the city's Star Hotel pub. True or false?
Oh, that sounds true for sure.
Well, it's actually false because it was 4,000. 4,000 people did.
4,000.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's just like, give me my pub back. Ah!
Yeah.
Right,
Where's my export?
I need my beer. All right. When Burger King arrived in Australia, it was forced to change its name to Hungry Jack's because the takeaway joint in Adelaide had already trademarked the name. True or false?
It's true to an extent. I'm pretty sure it's true.
Yeah,
Or was
it's
it?
actually true. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
Now, this will get you, mate. This is a good one, right? Weird Al Yankovic's "Eat It" hit the top of Australian charts in 1984, while Michael Jackson's original "Beat It" only reached number 3 in Australia. True or false?
Oh. True.
It's actually true, mate. As our Aussie humor, you're like, that song's awesome. Eat it.
Yeah. Mate, we probably got a tape cassette laying around in Mum's garage somewhere or something of that.
I actually remember "Beat It" better than "Eat It." I know "Eat It." I remember "Eat It" better than "Beat It."
Classic.
All right. In 1992, media tycoon Kerry Packer cancelled the new show Australia's Naughtiest Home Videos after the first week. True or false?
False?
That's right. It's actually false because 30 minutes into the first episode, he demanded, "Get this shit off my station." I was like, wow. All right.
I'm on the
Here to go.
cheese sticks, just
On
in
the
case
cheese
anyone wants a little
Yeah,
heat. Mate, they're so good.
I'm sweating my guts out. Anyway. All right. Last two. Issued as Australian legal tender, the most valuable coin in the world is a $1 million coin made by Perth Mint, which weighs 1 ton, is 19.99% pure gold. It's actually worth almost $10 million Australian and 8.4 million US dollars. True or false?
False.
Yeah, that's right. It's false. It's actually $52 million and 40.8 million US dollars.
Where the hell do they keep this coin, mate?
In the vault, was it? The Perth Mint.
Yeah, right.
So bloody big vault. All right. Last question, mate.
I know where I'm going later tonight after a few drinks, mate. I'm going to be scaling Perth Mint.
Let's find that bloody big coin. Yep. All right. Last question, mate. 2012, an episode of Peppa Pig was deemed unsuitable for a broadcast in Australia because it said on it that spiders were not to be feared. True or false?
True.
That's bloody true because we're going, Australia going, yeah, mate, spiders are bloody true, meant to be feared.
Yeah. Over here they are anyway.
Exactly, mate, exactly. All right, mate, look, congratulations. No matter what with the 55 trial, look, you got 60 seconds. Whatever you want to say, give big shout outs or whatever. Tell us what you're up to in the near future, mate.
Mate, Chili Fest. First and foremost, come down, get your tickets to Chili Fest on sale tomorrow, 9 a.m. I think Western Australian time. So jump on there, 12 if you're over on the East Coast. And stay tuned. Our State on a Plate's coming back this year. More episodes. It's going to be better than ever before. So keep following me. Jump on my Instagram at I am Blake Proud. And mate, it's been a pleasure being on the show.
Bloody oath. And fennel.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for coming on, buddy. I'll just whack you in the back there. Thanks, bud. All right, Spice Legends. Oh, thank you so much for joining us tonight with Blake Proud. Mate, that was amazing. Look, guys, Spice Legends, jump over to chillifest.com.au or facebook.com/the Chili Fest for tickets tomorrow, starting from 9 a.m. Those tickets so you can get to the Chili Fest there in WA. That's Fremantle, Spice Legends. But Spice Legends, all I have to say from now on, from this point on, is keep calm.